Hello YouTube, Canadian Edge here. We're going to do a knife review, and the knife we're going to look at today, it is by Ontario Knife Company, OKC, and this is the Shikra. And if you saw the unboxing, this is a knife that I got in a mystery box that they put together. You could buy a package and you got 3 different knives. You didn't know what they were. They just chose them, sent them to you. So this was a bit of a surprise, and it was a pleasant surprise. I actually really enjoy this knife. It's a knife I probably wouldn't have chose myself, but now that I have it in hand, I do like it. And so this is the Shikra. It has a blade length of 3.25 inches. Open, it is 7.5 inches. Closed, 4.25 inches. The steel on this, it is an AUS 8, Oz 8, and they call it a spear point style blade. The weight, nice and light, 2.35 ounces. And so, yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of weight to it. You barely notice it when you've got it in your hand or in your pocket. The handle, it has the micarta on the one side. Not my favorite color, but whatever. So micarta on one side and titanium on the other here. So nice and solid. There is no liner, by the way, under the micarta. So it's just the micarta there. And yeah, nice and light. The pocket clip on this, it is a right hand carry. You can have it either tip up or tip down, but no left hand carry. So it's only got the right hand carry on it, and not quite deep carry. Pretty close, but not quite. And the lock on it, it is a frame lock, as you can see, and works quite well. And yeah, opening, you got the flipper tab to open it, and that snaps open nice. The pivot, sorry, brain going blank there, the pivot on there is nice and smooth and works very well. So flip open nicely. It does have jimping on the back of the blade, and I like that. Always a fan of jimping. Gives me a good purchase. And for those of you that do like lanyard holes or lanyards, you do have the lanyard hole so that you can attach your lanyard to it and have that. So yeah, this is, as I say, one of the knives that I got in the mystery box. Didn't quite know what to expect, but happy with it so far. Let's do a size comparison. We have the Ontario Rat 2 and the Benchmade Bug Out. So you can see pretty much same size as your Benchmade Bug Out. A little bit bigger than the Rat. I'll grab a couple other knives here just to give you an idea. We have the Sencut Saxi. You can see that's a little bit bigger knife. And also the Civivi Cogent, which is also a little longer. So it is a medium-sized knife, and I like this size of knife. It works well for me. I appreciate that. Let's check out the blade sharpness. The Oz 8 is in steel that's easy to sharpen, holds an edge fairly well. Different knife companies use it. You can see it cuts the paper fairly easy. Oz 8 has been used for quite a while, and yeah, I haven't had any issues with it. I don't know if anybody else has, but I haven't. Normally I do a zip tie, but I thought, you know what, I just picked this up as part of my therapy for my muscular dystrophy, and thought, you know what, let's see this in action and see how it cuts zip ties. So instead of just cutting a zip tie, we're going to cut out one of my exercise equipment. And you can see, without me destroying the whole camera setup, that it does cut quite easily. So that's a good thing. And in case you're wondering, it's just a hand grip to keep your hand strength up. It has nothing to do with the knife. Sorry, little side distraction there. We were doing sharpness tests, so it does cut those zip ties quite well. And the fake paracord, it cuts through that quite well. And how about the nylon cord? It cuts through that quite well. And I don't know what I had got on that nylon cord, but anyway, it does have a good edge on it, and it will cut things. So lined up, it is slightly off center, and that can be fixed if somebody really wants to do it. You know, it's not all that hard to do, but it's not that much off center that I'm worried about it. It doesn't affect the use of the knife at all, and so I didn't worry about it. At some point, who knows, maybe someday when I'm bored and need to do some knife maintenance, I will maybe adjust that and see about fixing it. But right now it's not anything. And there's no blade play up and down, sits in there nice and solid. And yeah, it works good that way. In case anybody was interested, I looked up what Shikra means because I didn't know what Shikra is. Shikra is named after the Shikra hawk, native to Africa and Asia. So look at that. You not only do you learn about knives, you learn about other things in our world on your excursions into the Canadian Edge and knife reviews. So this is a very educational channel now. Stepping up my game there a little bit. Anyway, so like I say, I didn't know what to expect when I was getting the knives. I got this one. Actually, when I first pulled it out of the box, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I am not a fan of the split handle thing, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't really appeal to me. I prefer, the same on both sides, just personal preference. It doesn't affect the use of the knife at all. Knife still works great. I would have to say if you're left-handed, you might feel a little more gypped because you don't have this part to hang on to. So it's basically set up for a right-hander. But yeah, I prefer the same material on both handles, just my personal preference. Again, it does not affect the use of the knife, at least not for me. But whatever, it works great. The more I used the knife and carried it, the more I got used to it, and it's not such a big deal, but I do prefer. Anyway, you get the idea. I do like the aesthetics of the knife. I prefer maybe a different color than the tan. I've gotten used to it now, so it's not a big deal. I just have oily hands, so at some point this is going to show the oil stains quite a bit. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't really care for the tan color. But that aside, I like the aesthetics of it. You got the nice wedge up here on the top, gives it a good look. It looks like a knife that you could use for different slicing. If you're camping and stuff like that, probably great for helping prepare dinner. But at the same time, you can cut down a willow branch and sharpen it up and roast marshmallows or hot dogs with it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I enjoy the look of it. I like what they've done with the handle here, the design on it. So aesthetically, it's good. This side, not so much to look at, but it is in your hand anyway, so you don't necessarily see that if you're right-handed. Lefties, you would see that, but sorry, lefties. Life is not fair to you guys. Anyway, aesthetically, it looks good. Ergonomics are great on it. It feels really good in the hand. You feel like you got control of it. I have cut boxes down with this, cut open packages, different little jobs around the yard and stuff like that. It's worked great. Feels great. You feel like you've got good control. It's a sharpening choil. It's not a finger choil, but if you are careful, you could choke up for more control, but you want to be careful because the cutting edge is right there. And this is not designed for putting fingers forward. It's designed to keep fingers back. But yeah, it's your choice if you want to choke up on the grip and have a little finer control. Pivot on it is very smooth, not quite drop closed. It does have a bit of a detent up at the top there, or not at the top, sorry, at the bottom. So it's not quite a drop close. Well, yeah, it does. It'll snap close, so keep your fingers out of the way. But the pivot on it's nice and smooth, out of the box, no issues. I do put pivot lubrication on all my knives, regardless of how smooth they operate, just because I do. Just my personal preference again. Good in the pocket, nice and slim in the pocket. You don't really notice it weight-wise and size-wise. It fits in your pocket really well. Like I say, almost deep carry, basically deep carry for all intensive purposes. So yes, it works well that way. And the grip on this side, it is very good. A little more slippery on this side. If you were left-handed, you do have the pocket clip there to give you a bit of grip, but most of the grip is on this side. So righties, you've got good grip and works well that way. A couple of the things that I wasn't really crazy about. The pocket clip, they almost got there. They made the pocket clip flush, but they left the screws sticking up. So yes, you do get wear and tear from the screws in your pocket, and not a big deal, I guess, whatever. Although I keep pointing it out with the majority of knives that I have. Yeah, it is just a little extra wear and tear on the pocket. So, and I find sometimes it's just me. I know most people probably don't have this problem, and if you do have this problem, join the club. Because of how I hang on sometimes, I might pinch with this finger so that it doesn't open as smoothly as it should, just because I'm trying to get a grip. So I try and put my finger on the top of the pocket clip so I'm not pushing against the frame lock. That's one of the things I don't like about frame locks, that it is my issue. I tend to push against the frame locks, especially if they're a smaller knife, and I find that I inhibit the blade from coming out as easy as it should. So yeah, frame locks are low on my scale of favorite locks. They work great, but just because of how I hold the knife, if you hold further back, you aren't in the way. And I just have to learn how to hold a frame lock differently for opening purposes. But other than that, sorry, going off on rants here. Other than that, I have really come to like this knife. Ontario knives, I have the Rat 2 and it's a great knife. I really like it. So Ontario Knives, they make good knives, and like I say, I've used this for a number of different tasks around the house and in the yard, and it's worked great. And so if you're looking for a smaller everyday carry knife, this might be one that you want to look at. It's a little pricier. I think this was in the $60 to $70 range. I'll put a link to it so you can see. But yeah, nice knife, works great. I would recommend it as an everyday carry. I think you'd be very happy with it. So the OKC Shikra. Check them out. Check out other knives by OKC and see what you think. And thanks for joining me on this review. Check out my other reviews, my other unboxings. Hit the like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I will get back to you, and we'll do this all over again with another knife. But until then, you stay safe and stay sharp.